for Tuesday, April 29th. Could we have a roll call, please?
Roberts.
Here.
Sechrist. Here. Pettigrew.
Here.
Ham.
Here.
Lehman. Here. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Could we have an adoption of the agenda, please?
Move to approve.
So moved.
The agenda is adopted. I don't have any general public comment forms. Is there any general public comments out there? If not, I'll just move through that. Apparently not. We'll go on to consent items 1 through 9. Do we have any public comments on the consent items? Seeing none. Does anyone from the dais want to remove any consent items? John Roberts.
6, 7, and 8.
Jesse.
5.
And I would like to remove 4, if I could, please.
I move to approve items 1, 2, 3, and 9.
All those in favor of approving items 1, 2, 3, and 9?
Aye.
Motion passes. I'd like to talk about item number 4. That's PW 042925-03, authorize mayor and finance director to sign professional services agreement with Avid 4 Engineering for basic construction services for Sioux Avenue, East St. Charles Street, and Riley Avenue Street and utility improvements, project number 2780, CIP number 51365, for an amount of not to exceed $23,770. And I did call Roger on this. I had some questions, and I don't understand, maybe there's a procedure for this, but Roger explained to me that this is kind of a retainer for these other engineers, and I guess my question would be, we have qualified engineers on city staff. They're all well-trained, know what they're doing. If a problem arises or some sort of hiccup, I don't know what that would be, why can't we work within our own engineering department and solve those instead of having to go out to outside engineers? So I don't know. Roger, I'm not putting you on the spot, but with our budget being tight, I just think we need to review every expenditure that we have, and I just would like to, I guess, a better understanding. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you for the call last night. I appreciate the inquiry. This is a common practice for us. We call it a task force. We have different tasks during a project. We call this a task force contract. And when we had Avid 4 go out and design this entire project, they are the ones that are intimately familiar with all aspects of the project. They also met with every landowner out there and assisted us in the easement negotiations. Sometimes issues come up. I can't see through dirt, so I can't predict what's going on underground. We use our best available information. But because they are the engineer of record on the project, we quite often refer to them and ask them what their recommendation is. They've done the analysis of the water system, they've done the analysis of the sewer, they hired the geotech to do the soils analysis and several other things. So if something, when we tear up the street, doesn't match what we thought it was, quite often we consult with these guys to come out and say, hey, we thought it was this, but it was really this. What's our best solution for this? Our staff does review every set of plans, but that doesn't give them the familiarity with the area and the neighborhood and all the people out there that these people have. Sometimes they've spent a year or two in design to do this. It is not common for us to expend this whole contract. This is $23,000 on a $6 million contract. So it's fairly small, but I understand your concern with budgets and everything. Our construction group manager wanted to be here today, but he had to take care of some personal business and explain further how he uses. We have this on most contracts designed by a consultant within the city.
Thank you.
If I've been, is that?
Yeah, thank you, Roger. John, do you have a comment?
Did you think I would have a comment?
Well, your light was on.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put my light on. Well, I'll make a comment, I guess. You would think that this would be something that would be built into the design, the overall design, because I know that these designs for these projects are quite expensive, and it just seems kind of odd that after the fact that, we're still paying them a little bit more, and I don't know. I mean, I guess this is the way it's always been done. Does that mean it has to keep being done that way? I don't know. Speaking of that, since I have the mic, and maybe I can ask Daniel or Vicky, I had somebody recently ask me about the Public Works Director position. Has it ever been posted? Somebody asked me if it has been or if it's ever gonna be, or... Good.
Daniel, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The mayor has been working through a reorganization that would include that position as well. I believe he anticipates presenting that to the council the second meeting of May. That would include his plans for that position as well as a few others.
Okay, well, thank you. It's the
Thank you,
first I've
Daniel.
heard of it.
Any other questions or comments on item number 4? If not,
Move to approve.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, PW 042-925-4, authorize staff to purchase one 2025 Ford Explorer 4-door 4x4 Active from McKee Ford, matching the price from the state contract 17619 in the amount of $41,215 for rapid division. Jesse?
I'm just curious if you would, Chair, is there someone here who can answer a question from the staff? Awesome. All I'm curious about is what's the nature of the use for this vehicle, kind of in general terms?
I believe the transit manager uses it if there's an issue to get to a bus or if a staff member needs help along a bus route so she can transport to and fro, or if there's travel that the staff members have to take, this would be the vehicle they would utilize.
And
Vicky, you want to make a comment?
I just wanted to add to that. This is similar to what we've got in parking enforcement. We also have one vehicle that we retain because their service area is beyond just this building or the transit building. And there are times that all of the staff may need to go out to the bus barn or to go to a mechanic's facility to pick up a vehicle. And it's cheaper to do that than to drive another bus there to pick up a bus.
okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next question as far as the volume of people that needed to ride in it. All right, I yield. Thank you.
I guess I am on now. I didn't think I was. This one I didn't pull because I thought this vehicle, it was 23 years old. It probably needed to be replaced just because of the age. But one of the things that really caught me on this one was it only had 83,000 miles on it, I think. So it's not used a lot. But, and if it's a vehicle that's being shared amongst everybody else, I mean, that's a good investment. So I don't have an issue with this one.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I did confirm with Megan, that particular vehicle has a major issue with the HVAC system, and because of its age, parts are no longer available to fix it. So it's not practical to fix it. It just wouldn't be cost effective.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any other comments on item number 5? If not, can I entertain a motion? Those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. If I could just take a few minutes, I want to thank Lindsay. I called her late Friday on all these vehicle purchases and requested that she get me some pictures. I appreciate you got those to me Monday morning. And I just want the staff to know, like I said earlier, revenue is down, and the council is just concerned how we spend our money. And there's always a lot of vehicles being purchased, and if you could bring forward with your requests, you know, the age of the vehicle, how many miles it has on it, a picture, why we're replacing it. Otherwise, we don't know what's going on, and maybe we're getting picky, I don't know, but in my business, that's what I look at, and I think that's only a reasonable request from city staff that we receive that information so we can make good decisions for the city. Item number 6, who pulled that one?
I did. I pulled 6, 7, and 8. We can take them all together.
That'd be great. John, go ahead.
Thank you. I imagine you know about these vehicles too?
Some, if not, Jesse's here from Streets.
Okay. So my question on 6 and 7, I see they're replacement vehicles, and it said all 3 of them are not operable. What exactly does that mean? I'm just curious.
Okay, so on SO 27, that needs a new engine, and we've already stuck $49,000 in repair on it. And then SO 25, same thing, needs a new engine. We've spent $54,421.50 already on that one.
So why would you spend more than the new vehicles cost on, I'm just curious. I mean,
Over the course of
over the.
Yeah, this is,
over
yeah,
the
this
life
is the
of
life of the vehicle,
Oh, the life
sorry.
of the vehicle,
Yep,
okay.
Yep, this is the life of the vehicle. And then SO 62, that has a broken camshaft, and that's $30,997 we've spent over the life on that vehicle. Just to note, and maybe I should have put this in the agenda, but, so we currently have 5 of these F-150s that are inoperable. 2 of them have cracked frames that just can't fix. So we're just requesting for 2 to replace those 5.
Okay. So, and then the other one, two are to replace the 5, the other one's to replace,
So are you talking about 7?
so, yes.
Okay, so now on 7, what we did is, so normally we buy a snow plow. So instead of buying a dedicated snow plow that I think we paid $308,000 for the last one, I'm gonna buy 2 550s, which still plow snow, still put out sand, still put out salt. They're 73 and 77 apiece, so you're looking at for $150,000. I can get 2 vehicles out of that still do the same thing, but then I can also use them during the summer.
And do those take our regular plows, or do they have wing plows? What,
Them just have front plows.
Okay.
They are movable. They actually work really good on like the west side on the hills, some of those smaller streets that we have to hit in any snow event. They're obviously a lot smaller, so they can maneuver a lot better.
oh, absolutely, I think that's great, and I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see you stop using the road graders for snow removal. There's not very many cities around the country that are still doing that. A lot of cities use just the wing plows on trucks now. They have fleets of them.
They
So-
do. I know Sioux Falls still use motor graders. The nice thing with the motor graders is we can bust that ice. They're
Yeah.
better at busting ice. Actual snow removal,
I got some videos of one of those graders going up Lacrosse Street a few years ago when there was about a 1/4 inch of slush on there, and the sparks were just flying. I don't know if I sent it to anybody out here, but I sent it to Dale Tech, and he didn't appreciate that much, but I don't care. So, but, I know with those plows, if you hit a curb, because I know we spend, what, a couple $100,000 a year repairing curbs after the winter time because of accidents that happen.
yeah.
So, so I really like the idea of the smaller plows. I think it's a great idea. So, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that answer, and now you can go to 8. And then it will be taken care of.
So 8's the same thing.
Okay.
Because that's 1 apiece. The only thing is one's a regular cab, one's a crew cab. We were gonna try out and see what the crew cab could do. See if that, because our one right now is a regular cab. Obviously, the crew cab makes it longer. And see what, I guess which one we like better. Obviously, with the crew cab, we can haul more people to projects.
Yeah, in the summertime when
In
you're
the
using them.
summertime.
Yep. No,
So-
absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I still would like to see a complete vehicle inventory. I still haven't seen that yet, I don't believe. And we need to move in the direction of a fleet manager. We need to have a dedicated fleet manager. I think you're doing as good of a job as you possibly can do with the time you have, but we need to have a dedicated fleet manager. We need to know everything that's in our inventory, the mileage, the costs that we're putting into them. You know, I mean, there comes a point where, yeah, where they're just not worth putting any more money into. But unfortunately, us here on this dais, we're the ones that take the phone calls all day long about why is the city, every vehicle the city has, brand new? Why is the, you know, from the public? So we need to justify these purchases to the public. So, thank you.
Thank you, John. Jesse?
Thank you, Jesse. Just to clarify, it sounds like this is like a tri-purpose for these 450s, because you're replacing a 150 that's a runaround for various different jobs, and those aren't historically, if I'm correct, you can answer me on this. Those 150s aren't historically as reliable as the 250 chassis, et cetera.
Correct.
That these 450s run
Correct.
on. And as far as John's concerned about the curb, I think I've run a plow truck for a number of years, and these plows that are attached, they have a spring that won't. It minimizes anyway a lot of your curb damage. Am I correct in that?
Yep.
Okay. And so you're getting a vehicle that will serve three purposes. One is a runaround during most of the season. Two, it's more durable. And three, that will serve as a plow that will replace, like John was talking about, some of those more destructive plows. So I really like it. It's a good idea. Thank you.
Mr. Pettigrew, if I may, we have compiled a list of all of the general fund vehicles. Okay, and and to the best of my ability, I've tried to create a replacement plan to give us an idea based on what the status is that the departments have given us. So we have a good idea of coming down the pipeline, what we're looking at for replacements. Eventually, we will add all of the enterprise funds into that, but we do have a working shell of general fund vehicles at this time that we're working off of.
Thank you, Lindsay. I did see that document. Daniel sent it to me. I thought I forwarded it to the rest of the council. I probably didn't get that done, but that's exactly what we're wanting to see, so we can make better decisions up here. Lindsay Seacrest?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank you both, Jesse and Lindsay, for the information. I think that's really helpful to understand. I know I've heard a couple of different comments on whether contractors or city staff are plowing our downtowns, but I think that this smaller vehicle with the curb damage that's happening in our downtown area would be really beneficial for us to utilize in the snow route plowing of the downtown area. They have a significant amount of curb damage that I know as a downtown, it's hard to repair all of those curbs, and so then it just impacts forever the aesthetic value of the streets. And I was also going to see if I could ask our finance director a question on the fleet manager. I was just curious if there's been a status of that position and what that might look like.
Daniel?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is also part of the mayor's reorganization plan. That includes that position as well, as we are working to centralize more of our maintenance, including fleet as well as buildings. And so that's within the maintenance division, and that is becoming more robust. Your previous supplemental appropriation authorized some additional mechanic positions that we are filling now. The next step will be that fleet manager position that hopefully will be included fairly soon. But I don't want to step on the mayor's plans, I guess.
Thank you, Daniel. I was just curious. I know that we utilize kind of an Excel matrix or perhaps pulling the data from Tyler. I believe I've seen the inventory of the vehicles, but it's not something that you can really digest or break down into anything that's meaningful data. So having a fleet management system, I think, would benefit, and this is absolutely an opportunity that the city could partner with the School of Mines and the computer software department to create a system, or Omnitech in town locally create systems that we could utilize to track. I know we're using Tyler to track the maintenance, but specifically for fleet, I think there's software out there that would be a benefit for the city. Thank you.
Just one last comment I would have on these vehicles. As the staff knows, every time there's a vehicle, we pick this apart. I think it's a good conversation. Maybe you can take this message back to the other department heads and let them know the more information, like I said previously, the better, so we don't have to invest everyone's time on these. And I would just ask the staff to do sharing of vehicles, if at all possible. Do we have to replace every vehicle that breaks? Maybe we can do some sharing of that, just in an effort to be better managers for the city. So can I have a motion, please, to approve? Oh, I'm sorry, Vicki?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the last several months, we've heard from council on many occasions the concerns with the number of vehicles and wanting information on the conditions of the vehicles. And so we did have a visit at a director's meeting to create a form, a standard form, that if anyone is replacing or buying new, that it be included in your packet. And so I just ran out today and I see that the form is there, but there are available allowances on that form. So all the discussion we've had today about why we're buying the vehicle, how it's going to be used, could be added so that we don't have to pause in all of these meetings. And that's just going to encourage all the directors to make sure their staff are universally using them, and that all the staff that truly are taking ownership of needing that vehicle replaced or a new one, filling in why, what's it going to be used for, what's the benefits. And I like the idea of the overall maintenance cost, and that's something that we should probably be including too. If we've got a vehicle that continues to break down, even though it's not too old, we get lemons once in a while, let's put that in there so you know why we're asking it to be replaced.
Thank you, Vicki. Daniel?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In addition to that, I think it's important to note that over the past several months, the mayor as well as the staff have definitely heard concerns from the council that have been raised about trying to ensure that we are as prudent with the taxpayers' resources as possible. As Lindsay has gone through compiling the list of all the equipment, we have been working to ensure that there's greater sharing of those resources. There are a lot of pieces of equipment that are owned by one division that frankly is not used very often. And what we are trying to do at this point is to ensure that departments do a better job of sharing those resources so that we do not have to have specialized equipment that is really used just a couple times a year, which has happened in the past. And so a lot of this effort that the mayor is going to be presenting about trying to have a more unified city and not as many silos in the long term will definitely reduce the total amount of equipment that we have as a community and reduce our overall operating costs and replacement costs.
Thank you, Daniel. That sounds like what Jesse with Streets is trying to do with these pickups. Get more use out of them, and we appreciate that. Lindsay, you have a comment?
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to that, I wanted to just thank you guys for the form. I have noticed that the form is now included on the vehicle requests. I do read those. I believe we are all reading those. It is not helpful if the information isn't there. So what is a vehicle used for? How many times a day? I think some of those descriptions would help to avoid the ongoing conversation and discussion of us continuously bringing this back up. My other comment was in regard to Daniel with the efficiency. If we had a fleet manager and a fleet management system, you could check a vehicle out. So for example, the rapid transit vehicle used very minimally, maybe a couple times a week. They call over to the fleet manager and check that vehicle out when they need it, and you have an ongoing rotation of vehicles that you have available, and they don't need to be the newest, brand new 2025 Ford Explorer edition. This could be cars that are fuel efficient, that you have 5 that are shared between the attorneys, finance, mayor, rapid transit, just all of your in-house divisions, and then you don't have to have the duplication of vehicles for every single division. So School of Mines is a great example for reference of how they manage their fleet and facilities maintenance. I think we could learn a lot from just looking at how some of the state utilizes those efficiencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. May I have a motion, please, to approve items 6, 7, and 8? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We're now on to the non-consent items, number 10. I don't see any public speaker forms for that, so we will move on to a presentation of Water Reclamation Facility Project Update by Eduardo Lopez.
The space bar. Video. Okay. Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. I'm Eddie Lopez, Operations Engineering Manager. I also serve as the project manager for the Water Reclamation Facility. That is a mouthful, so I'll use WRF from this point forward. So to start off, I'll be doing a project update. Start off with a historical timeline. Wanted to point out the original plant was constructed in 1967. One of the key takeaways from this timeline that I wanted to point out was the plant has been under constant construction since its inception. That's just due to changes in regulation, growth in population. The environment out there is very harsh. Things break down very fast, especially electric equipment, so replacement is necessary to meet reliance of our system. If you focus on the right side of the timeline, that's where we're at right now. We're in phase 2 of our project. We're looking to complete that project in winter of 2028. We do have a major milestone in 2027. We'll start bringing systems online and going through the commissioning process. So that's our project in a snap. Quick project overview. This is the city's largest infrastructure project to date. This project does serve to provide the needed services to our community today and in the future. The current system is being improved to become more efficient, require less maintenance, and be more reliable for years to come. And at the completion of this project, the WRF will meet anticipated future regulatory needs. Last time we were here, it was summer of 2024. We were still working on securing some final monies for the project. I am happy to report that we have secured all funding at this time. We have $207.3 million for the project. $136.5 million is through SRF loans, and we have received $52.8 million in grant funding at this time. That's about 25% of the project cost, and we are using our enterprise sewer funds at $18 million to round out that number out to $207.3 million. We've been very busy out there since the award of the project of summer 2024. Just wanted to point out some milestones for our project. In November of 2024, we first placed concrete for our aeration basin number 3. This is a tank that will be used to biologically treat our sewage by growing enzymes in there. A lot of these are just, I'm gonna call them pools, where we're just holding water and retaining and growing enzymes. In January 2025, we did reach another major milestone where we started excavating for our secondary clarifier number 3 and the RAS-WAS building. The clarifier is part of our final treatment process prior to going to disinfection. And then the RAS-WAS building is what I'm calling the heart of the plant. We take our recycled activated sludge and we send it back to the aeration basin. And then we also waste some of that sludge and we send it over to our solids holding tank, which then goes to the dewatering tank. And then we'll take from there, we'll take our solids over to the landfill. In January 2025, we've also we're able to place our concrete mat slab for the dewatering building and also for the solids holding tank. That was a major undertaking. There was a lot of structure that went underground. We installed 172 36-inch diameter, 30-foot deep concrete piers for the dewatering building alone, and 84 concrete piers for the solids holding tank. This is infrastructure that you don't see, but it's down 30 feet in the ground until we hit shell. So a lot of concrete went into these two projects, and I'll have a fun fact to share later on. This is our project area, our site. I did want to compare it over to the monument area just to kind of bring a magnitude as to the size of our project. It's similar in size, including the whole complex there. What I do also want to point out is that each one of these flagged items could be individual projects by themselves. This is a big project that we're undertaking. It's a giant mega project, what I would like to call, heavy construction that's going on. On the west side of the site here, we have our solids holding tank. I'm going to iterate some facts here. That solids holding tank, it's about a 100-foot diameter tank, 14 feet deep. I am happy to report that that structure is complete at this time. We still have a lot more infrastructure to go, but the structure itself is done. Next is our dewatering building. This is probably our largest building that we have there on site. It's going to house millions of dollars of equipment in there. It's approximately about 3 stories in height. It's a large structure that we're building right now. Next is our aeration basin. That's similar in size to the other pools that we have out there, and that's about 20 feet in the ground, 16 feet at the end, but we had to go down to 20. Then we have our plant drain. That is our lowest spot in the facility. That's 33 feet down in the hole. It's taken a lot of effort to get to that point, and right next to it, we're going to be building our RAS-WAS building, and then finally, we have on the north side, on the south side, secondary clarifiers 3 and 4. We'll be building those out. Those are about 20 feet down in the ground. We've moved a lot of earth. If you look at the aerial image down on the south, you see our soil piles mounding up. It has taken a lot of effort to get to this point. I do have a quick project video update that I wanted to share. This is approximately 8 months worth of work in 50 seconds of our aeration basin number 3 that's been under construction. PKG has been diligently working through the winter periods, and I wanted to give kudos to the construction workers out there for braving the cold. We get 20, 30 mile per hour winds out there. You get 10, 20 degrees. It's brutal. I tell you that much. And I have to give it up to PKG for being out there, staying on schedule, and building this structure up for us. Yeah, so a lot of work has taken place since the award of the project here. I do have some cool music that's not playing. Yeah. Next thing that I have, so what's next? We have our upcoming major milestones. So it's spring of 2025. We'll start raising walls on a dewatering building, so that we're looking around mid-May to start tilting up our walls. We're also going to be building walls for our clarifier number 3, and then the RAS-WAS pump building will begin to take shape. In summer 2025, we're looking forward to start our underground site piping. I put an image there on the right-hand side to just show the complexity of the piping that's going to be in there. I like to call it a spaghetti fettuccine. It's a lot of pipe that's going to go underground, and we're leveraging a lot on our technology to try to model and avoid conflicts. So we're excited to get into this part of the work just to see how it comes out. Next, we'll also be focusing on clarifier number 4, building that out, and then continue to build our building structures. Like I mentioned earlier before, we have $207.3 million in project funds. To date, we have encumbered $204 million in contracts. We completed $40.8 million in construction costs. We have a remainder of $163 million left. I did want to point out that we do have $3 million reserved for contingencies, and this would be for project changes as they come up. Like I said, we're down in the hole, 30, 40 feet down. There's a lot of unforeseens that we'll encounter. This is a quick breakdown of our change order history. We still haven't approached council with a change order. We're looking to do that in May of 19th. There'll be a detailed explanation of line items explaining these numbers, but I did want to highlight our project credits and deducts. Right at the beginning, we met with PKG and our engineers, and we looked at doing some value engineering on our project, and we identified about $422,000 in savings. As similar through that exercise, we also identified some additional operational value-added requests, so that's another $91,000 that we added to the contract. And like I mentioned earlier before, we did our due diligence during our geotechnical investigations, but a lot of our structures are underground. We have seen some unforeseen soil conditions. The soil conditions are not great out there. We have a lot of heavy, fat clay soils, so we need to go down to bedrock in a lot of areas. So right now, that total has been $438,000. But based on our value-added items, if you sum it all up, we have at a net positive $106,000 change order that will be probably coming to council May 19th. Fun fact as promised, the construction of the dewatering building piers has used about 2,000 cubic yards of concrete, which is over 202 concrete truckloads. If we were to line those up end to end, we'll have about a 1.7 mile traffic train out there. So a lot of concrete has been placed, and that's just the piers alone. If I were to add up all the concrete, just 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we did about another 800 yards for our clarifier, and that was about 80 trucks. So a lot of concrete we're placing out there. One of the things that we're also working on the project is our project outreach. We're looking to make presentations to the Public Works and Legal and Finance Committee. This being the first, we're looking to target spring and fall in order to report what we did over the winter and report on what we did during the summer months, since that's our heavy construction period. We're also looking to do project newsletters every 4 months. In April, August, and December, you should be receiving your newsletter here shortly after this presentation. And based on the content that we create for that, we're also looking to create a project website in order to get this information out to the public. And once that website is created, we're also looking to digital displays and putting them at city public spaces, City Hall here, the library, possibly the monument. Those two items are still up for discussion. We're still planning those out. And then we're also planning to do scheduled construction tours. So if anybody's interested in trying to see these projects, feel free to reach out to myself or to Dave Van Cleve, the Water Rec Superintendent, and we can schedule a tour. So with that being said, that concludes my presentations. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez, for your presentation. Are there any questions from the dais? Jesse?
Yeah, thank you very much for that presentation. That was actually really excellent update, very enjoyable to watch. I really liked the 50-second video, and I might suggest that be something that would be part of a lot of these presentations. It gave a lot of insight as to what was actually happening, because you can describe it, but not having been in that situation, that really helped. 0.6% off for a $200 million project, pretty tight. That's awesome.
No.
What I just had one question. Where did you get the? I probably should know this already, but I can't recall. Where did you get the $52.8 million grant
So
from?
that's ARPA money that came from the state, and a little bit of city ARPA money that we used as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
And we do have a lot more videos that are coming, so we're going to be providing videos of each little building as we move forward.
Councilman Roberts?
Thank you. Speaking about the grant money, and this is probably a question for Daniel, in our new water sewer rates, so was that 52 million calculated in, or, go ahead. I guess Rod should be saying, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, the grant was included in our calculations to come up with the sewer rates.
Okay. Yep, I was just curious.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it would have been nice to have that much money to be able to do projects underground in Rapid over the next, 10 years. I was just curious. Thank you.
Lindsay, you had some comments?
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to say thank you to Eddie for the presentation. I concur with Jesse that that's really fun to have the visual and to see the project in progress. I think that is helpful for any of our large-scale projects for the city for visualization purposes. And I would absolutely take you up on the tour as the project moves along. I think we're probably pretty early in on things, but I think that could be really fun to get a small group together and come out and check it out. So I appreciate the offer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion to acknowledge the presentation? Can we have a motion to adjourn today's meeting, please? Motion to adjourn. Second. Meeting adjourned.